I am Michelle Welch. I'm the oh so serious one who maybe cares a little too much what you think.
And I'm the not so serious one. Don't really give a damn what you think. Your host, Roger Welch. And so, what's up today, guys? I'll tell you what's up today. Today, we have Ethony Dawn here. She is a tarot reader and author who loves to create more than sleeping. She is the creator of the Bad Bitches Tarot over here. She, the Awakening Soul Oracle, the Prince, the Norman Oracle, and Money Magic Manifesting Cards. She is the headmistress at www.tarotreadersacademy.com, where she teaches and mentors tarot professionals and students through the courses available there.
How you doing, Ethony?
Sup?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. Two of my favorite people.
Likewise, we're so glad to see you. I know you've been so busy, so I really appreciate you doing this and taking time to do it.
Anything for you both.
How's the tarot school going?
It's going great. So summer school is well and truly underway for our fourth year in a row, and we're having a great time. So it's just one of the highlights of my year to get to meet new students and work with just a group of amazing teachers, and we try to provide different avenues and different types of courses every year to keep things really fresh, so it always makes it really fun.
Yes, I am a part of that course this year. I signed up for all the classes, so I'm a little behind. Surprise.
Well, the beauty of that is that you have a lifetime access to all of the courses, and you can take your time and go and learn at your own pace, and you'll always have access to the teachers and the other students there. So that's one of the beauties of how it's set up, is that if you are having a busy summer like many of us do, that you can kind of take it at your own pace as well.
Well, I would recommend that to everybody listening and to all of the people who listen to SoulWhat or follow SoulTopia. Also, Ethony is a friend of ours, a fast friend. We love her, and she knows her stuff. Speaking of, you want to talk about her book?
Tonight,
we were talking also about your book here, your Tarot Court. So, Ethony, what inspired you to write this book?
Oh, what do you mean? This little book here?
Oh, yes, that's the one.
Yes.
If you hear some squeaking, that is my puppy, my very young puppy, who's decided Thor wants to say hello. If
we love
hearing.
Animals, so that's all good.
So I wrote the book because I have taught for many years the tarot, and something that everyone struggles with are the tarot court. And I had I can't believe the dog started, as we started recording. He's been quiet for ages. And everyone struggles with the tarot court. They are cards that people avoid. They are just like, oh my gosh, I had a reading and 4 out of 5 of my cards are the tarot court cards. I didn't know what to do. I had a masterclass on tarot court, and a lot of people really found that very helpful. And then I thought, well, let's expand that and have a broader conversation around the tarot court, and to help people see whether this is like an aspect of themselves or whether it's somebody else externally coming into their realm, and how they're going to impact their reading.
I was going to tell you, you know how when kids are like your own kids or your own animals, you know how when they're barking or you're out somewhere and you're like, oh no, my kids are being loud. What's the dog's name? Because
his name is Thor, Odin's son, Fluffy Ram Jam Prince the Fourth.
Okay.
But Thor for short.
Well, Thor is precious and not bothering us at all, so don't let Thor bother you. Because usually it's the one that's around or like it's stressful. What court card would Thor be right now?
Oh my gosh, he would be the Page of Wands for sure. He is a Peter Pan, just wants to get up in everyone's face, has so much energy. He's such a beautiful little soul, but he's a little bit of a trickster. They're so smart. You wouldn't think for a 3-month-old puppy that he gets it, but boy, does that dog get it. He's learning very quickly. So he's already in puppy school, learning to behave.
Well, he also knew right when we went live, too.
Yeah,
he got his airtime for sure. That's funny. So one of the things I found, first of all, thank you for the book because it really is good. I did pre-order it. It was funny. I did pre-order it, and then I never had my pre-order number, so I jumped on your YouTube classes that you gave, which was really helpful. You gave short, I think it was YouTube or Facebook. I can't remember. Facebook, I think, live. The Facebook Live instructionals. And so I did a little work on it there. And then I was reading it again today, and I hopped on an inbox, and I was like, this book is amazing. It really is good, because a lot of people do have so much trouble with the court cards. And I'm still like, I read a lot. Okay, so I'll use, I've done this a long time too, but it's still, there just weren't a lot of good books out there. There were a couple good books, but this book is just great. And one of the things I like the most about it is that you speak about gender as a social construct. And could you talk to us a little bit about that, and how you handle that in the book and how you handle it in readings?
That was one of my favorite things to research, honestly. And it was one of my favorite things to talk about, because and it really started from looking at how the modern world is. We don't talk about kings and queens in an everyday context, except for when Game of Thrones was on, then everyone was talking about it. Or if you're like me and talk about drag queens all the time. But outside of a very specific set of circumstances, a lot of us aren't in a society where we have kings and queens and pages and knights, for sure. I mean, there are still knights, but they're more of a title that's given than, that you actually have any power. So I was like, okay, well, that's a construct. And I've always thought that gender is a construct. It's something that is done to us at birth. We don't have a say in what gender we are assigned at birth. That is something that an external person does to us. And when I was doing all the research, there are so many cultures that do understand from going back thousands of years that they have either more than one gender, or there is a level of gender fluidity. And one of the things that really stops people from seeing themselves in the tarot court is the titles of page, knight, queen, and king, and the gender that is assigned to the court cards in a visual representation of the tarot. Especially, for example, women come to the tarot, a lot of women use the tarot, and the king, the knight, and the page are all very masculine looking in the Rider-Waite-Smith, even though the Thoth has changed that, but that is a different system, the Thoth system. And then you've got men who come to the tarot, and if they get a queen, they're automatically not going to, well, many of them won't take that on board as thinking, well, that's an archetype I can relate to. They usually go immediately to, like, that's got to be my mother, my sister, my lover, my friend, and not really thinking, oh, that can be someone or a part of myself that needs healing or is coming out into the world to play. So for me, it was like, I want to break this down, because it's not about the gender and it's not about the title per se, but I do talk about hierarchy, because that's a different thing in regards to going through initiations of power and the way in which power is used. But it's always about the behaviors and the interactions with the world that are the most important things, and how that is viewed and embodied and manifested through each one of the 16 court cards.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So, Ethony, because we do teach some classes and everything, and when it comes down to the court cards, a lot of people do get they're just overwhelming to people. What's your best bit of advice you can give to people?
Really get to know each one of them. So if you're getting overwhelmed by them, get to know each one of the court cards individually. So take some time to really get to know what that court card represents and how that court card moves through the world and is going to act and react to situations. Because the more that you can actually sit in that space of how am I going to move forward if I embody this court card, or what would this court card do if they were in this situation, or how would they interact with the environment around them, you're going to fear less the title when it comes up. And that is a really good entry point into getting to know them. Don't throw a million cards on top of your court cards thinking that it's going to give you some clarification. Yeah. It's not. If you are really needing some clarification, maybe pull one extra card. But if I'm doing clarifiers, say if I have the Knight of Swords and I'm not quite sure what that means in the situation, I'll always say, what is an ally or energy the Knight of Swords can use to move forward? And then I would pull a card, because you're actually giving that card a direction to go in with that court card. So it's like a little equation. The Knight of Swords plus maybe like the Seven of Pentacles is they're going to move forward through an audit. So that's an example. But don't throw a million cards on top of your court card, because you're just going to get really confused.
Or it seems like you're almost ending up ignoring the court cards in a way, is what ends up happening, I think. Maybe that's true confession time, but from when I started, I would just, there's like 5 court cards, instead of looking at what those were and what the suits were and what they were in the hierarchy, or whatever ways you say in the book, all the different ways you say to do it. If you're throwing other cards on it, you're really just saying, okay, I'm going to ignore the court cards because I don't want to deal with them. Some people do that, right?
Yeah, and there are decks that are out there that they've actually taken them out, and I'm all for like changing them. So like I've actually named a few decks where they are different, like the Wild Unknown, the Daughters of the Moon, the Silicon Dawn Tarot. There are a number of them that have been changed, and I've got no problem with that, because again, you're looking at powers and power through initiation and through the way we grow and mature. So I've got no problem with any of those sorts of archetypes being changed. But when we ignore it, we're actually ignoring the way in which we interact with the world, and whether our ego is more in play here or we have a lesson to learn here. And one of the big things that the tarot has brought to my life, and I'm sure that this is something that you've heard from your clients and your friends and people who come to learn from you both, is that they say it's a reflection of what's going on in their life, and how can you have a full picture if you're ignoring the people in your life?
Oh, exactly.
Makes sense.
Well, I had the book out again today, and again, if we want to show it, the full name is Your Tarot Court, Read Any Deck with Confidence. And I truly believe it, because there's a lot of exercises, you guys, in here for literally at the beginning, like getting to know the cards, going through the court cards. And I love the layout of the book, because it just doesn't have you memorizing all this stuff at first. You also address the way they look, and is that always an indicator? And you might want to speak to that briefly, what you say in the book about that.
So one of the things that's really cool about going back and reading old books, and many of us have, we've read Eden Gray, we've read Arthur Waite's book, we've read lots of tarot books, and they're so dry. It makes me laugh. But there are, they're very classic ways of reading. So if a cup card comes up, it's a blonde person with fair skin, fair colored eyes. And in today's society, where you can literally get butt injections and do whatever you want with your face, it just doesn't make sense to look at physical indicators. Usually what I see when a tarot court card comes up and someone physically is trying to come through or represents a person, I'll see a symbol, or I will see almost like a real quick flash of somebody. But that's because I've worked very hard, and my major clair is my clairvoyance, whereas someone else may hear something, they may hear a name. But I have never gone to the tarot court and just gone with this person is a tall, dark, and handsome person who's going to come in and ask you out on a hot date. Like, it just doesn't work like that, because life is not scripted, So, yeah.
And I love the exercise. I'll just tell those of you who end up buying the book, because I know everybody's going to. Seriously, I'm not just saying this afterwards. This is one of the books you need to have. On page 128 and 129, they're called it starts there. It's your archetype pillars. And on there, Ethony, you explain how we can be any of the court cards at any given time, regardless of age, gender, identification, or color of hair, etc. Right? And then you have us go through things like in love and relationships, in faith, spirituality, health. There's like 7 different things that we go through on page and we started to do that today. I had done it already, and then we started with Roger today, and then he had to go off to work.
Had to go to work.
Yeah, so we were figuring some of them, so we'll have to do it later, but they're romantic relationships, your family relationships, your friendships, your work, career, your health, your spiritual archetype, and your inner self. And you literally have us go through, and that ends up being on page 129 and 130, all the way to, I don't know if I'm reading to page 131. You're having people really break it down that they may be different court cards at in different aspects of their life. And I think that's really cool. And then later in the book, like page 177, you give some pop culture representations. Could you tell us some of those? Because I think those are really cool.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly touch on the archetypes for people to maybe kind of get why I sort of did that. And that was a real deep reflection on myself and just really recognizing the roles that I have in my life. And I'm sure everyone can sit down and say that they play a number of roles. And this is not to denigrate the roles that we play. I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I am a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. So these are some of the roles that I play. And I'm not going to be the same person that I am with my son that I'm going to be necessarily with my friends. That is a completely different relationship. That is a different set of rules, a different set of boundaries. And I'm going to be a different person, not in disingenuous way, but anyone who is a parent knows that if they've got their 5-year-old with them, they are on. They always are kind of like going, okay, where is my child? Making sure they kind of like eyeline, see that kid, making sure that they've got, extra clothes, water, food, everything that child is going to need. Where if I'm with my friends out at a concert, just like being myself, I don't have to be on like that. It's a different set of environmental and social cues and social environments. So for when I was kind of going, I play these different roles in my life, different archetypes for sure come out in that way. We're different people at work than we are with our lovers. We're different people with our parents than we are with our siblings. And that's completely normal because of the way in which people interact with each other and the different relationships that we have. And when people are like, I'm really good with relationships, it's like you can be really fantastic, like myself, really good with I have got really solid friendships. I have a really solid relationship with my parents, but my love life is often a hot fire mess. Like it usually is, like no kidding. So that doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong with me. It's just that the archetype I'm embodying or the lesson that I'm learning through my romantic relationships is going to be completely different to the one that I am in my friendships. So that's where that came from. And then the pop culture stuff, I'm just a massive pop culture junkie. If you can't half tell from like all the Harry Potter stuff behind me. So I thought that was a really interesting way for people to take anything that they enjoy from pop culture and say, what archetype would they be? It's almost like sorting them into their own houses, if you will.
Right. So you break some down, like I know you use some Game of Thrones examples. Give us a couple of those.
So Cersei, who I think was done dirty in the last season, I think she really deserved a better send-off than that. She was an excellent villain. She is the Queen of Swords, but she's the Queen of Swords in a more shadow aspect. So in my tarot court, in your tarot court, she's the judge. She's going to be very careful and calculated about who, what, when, and where she's going to let information, because information and knowledge is power, go, and to whom. She is able to see different sides of the story and strategize. And then if you look at that in a more positive way, we have someone like Judge Judy, who is like not only just a judge, but is working in the framework of the law. Then we have Tyrion Lannister, who for me is very much the King of Swords, very, very intelligent, highly intelligent, uses that as his biggest strength. Again, I think it was a little bit weird what they did with him in the last season, but okay. I think a lot of us were like having feels about the last season of Game of Thrones. But he's very much that specialist. He knows everything, and he knows what is going on, and is often very much touting that he's the very smartest man in the room. So those are a couple of the Game of Thrones ones. I do all the Sex and the City main 4 characters, if that's something. I mean, I love Sex and the City. So I did those Harry Potter, and I tried to rack my brains and think of some ones that are not everyone would know, and then everyone's like, I don't know those ones. I was like, it's hard with pop culture because we live in a global community, so not everyone's going to kind of
most of them were. I thought you did a really good job on them. The other thing that's really cool in here is, you guys, and I want to do this. This would be so much fun. Oh, you guys, get ready. We're going to play this. Not now, but you have bingo cards for when you're watching a show with your friends. It's like, that's really, really cool. like fun. You can make copies. You give permission to make copies of it,
Yes.
and then play bingo when you're watching certain shows. Like, I don't know. I was wondering how it would apply to Stranger Things. Do you watch that? Have you watched?
I would love to watch Stranger Things. Here's the thing that happened with me in Stranger Things, because I tend to love everything on Netflix. Like I love Lucifer. I binge watched Altered Carbon when it came out. Stranger Things, the second the young boy went missing, I was like, I'm out, because I have a young son, and that was like literally my worst nightmare. And I was like, I can't watch this. Every time Winona Ryder was like getting upset, I was like empathizing with her too hard. I was like, this is my worst nightmare as a mother, so I couldn't kind of get past that.
Yeah, I understand that, and it doesn't really go away. I mean, my kids are grown, and you still sort of feel that way. I still have boys, and 3 boys, and
you worry about
them
them
I worry
all the
about them all
time.
the time, and the 2 girls. Yeah, so I can understand that. Do you want to throw some of the names at her?
Okay.
Now, I want you to know that some of the names I came up with, you guys can come up with some other ones if y'all don't like these. I didn't mean to choose. Some of them are actually royalty, but that's because I'm a little bit obsessed with English royalty. So when those come up, that's why, not because I was trying to go with royal court cards. That wasn't I thought about that later, and I thought, no, I wasn't misguided in that. It was like trying to make it fit. It's just that I'm interested in them, how they fit.
Yeah, but what a fun way to look at it, of real life royalty that people know, and actually see how they fit into the tarot court. So I think that's a really cool, cool thing. Yeah.
Do you want to call?
Okay.
Do the first one?
So we have the first one here, which is Iron Man, Tony Stark.
So Iron Man Tony Stark is a very interesting one, because I feel for him, he wears a couple of masks, and it really depends on the iteration of Tony Stark and Iron Man. I'm a massive nerd. So I've read the comics, and there's in one of the Iron Man stories, they actually go into his alcoholism quite a bit more than they did in the movies. But I think he's very much got this external exterior in his professional world, where he is the king of swords. He is brilliant. He creates a new element, for goodness sake. And I think like the second one, he is the scientist. He is the experimenter. He looks at the grand scheme of things all the way through the multiple movies in the MCU. He's worried about Thanos and the world's invasion. And he's always looking at the big picture, which is very, very King of Swords. But then on the inside, he has this very King of Cups, this very Hades, this very like deep, wounded, wants real connection, but kind of pushes people away and knows how to push people's buttons. So even in that, you can see the pillars coming in a very well written, very well developed character of externally, he's got his stuff together and he is the King of Swords, but internally he is the King of Cups, which is sometimes really struggling with his emotions, the past, his shadow, and where he really fits in, because of the fact that he's had to push everybody, or he has pushed everybody away. A lot of people. Some people are stuck by him, but yeah, the pillars there are interesting with Tony Stark.
And by the way, the cards we're showing, if we are showing them, these are Ethony's Bad Bitches Tarot. In fact, I'll put this one that doesn't just say SoulTopia all over the top of it. Bad Bitches Tarot deck, and we love them here. They sell like crazy, and everybody here just loves these cards, right? And Erica, I keep looking over at Erica for confirmation, right? They love them. And you guys, if you don't have, you still sell these, right? They're still being published?
The first edition is sold out. The second edition is printing as we speak. So
Awesome.
They will be ready soon, yeah.
Awesome. And I'm in that second edition, right? I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Just wait and see. The card changes I've done, girl.
It doesn't. All right. Yeah. All right. So the next one I did, I put Princess Di, Kate Middleton, and Megan.
So interesting trio of very powerful women. So I was having a think about this, and I remember the day where I was, the day that Princess Di passed away, and I'm pretty sure nearly everyone who was alive at the time does know where they were. Princess Di, for me, really felt like a little bit like she was a bit held hostage. I know it seems a little bit horrible to say, but I felt like when you read her energy, she was held hostage by the royal family for a while there. Mm-hmm. So in regards to the court, I would say she was very much the Page of Cups. ups the empath. And when she was able to be removed from that, she moved more into her Queen of Pentacles, that healer, wanting to heal the world and go out and do what she can for humanity and use her huge popularity. And she was so popular to do better in the world. So that was very much Princess Di for me. Kate Middleton, I know who she is. I just don't follow her too much. She is, she's an interesting one. I know more about Meghan Markle because of Suits, right? Like being the fact that she's an actress. So Meghan Markle's very easy for me. She is the Knight of Wands, who's a bit more of a rebel. The Knight of Wands wants to break molds, and she certainly did by entering into the royal family and taking the hottest ginger off the market. I was like, damn, she married my husband. He didn't know about it, but it was, but she definitely got the most gorgeous one out of that family. So she's definitely the Knight of Wands. She was well-traveled. She has had experience in the world. She comes from a place of she has her own power. She's her own woman, and a lot of people knew her before she entered into the sphere of the royal family. Whereas Kate Middleton, I'm pretty sure she was just kind of like a nobody. Was she a socialite? I think she probably was a socialite.
It seems like to me, I don't follow Kate Middleton that much either. It seems as though she kind of really is following into, if anybody here knows, tell me, following into exactly what she's supposed to do. I don't think she's shaking or rocking the boat at all. So to me, that's not as interesting because I'm like, yeah, come on, shake it up, do something,
Well, there was she actually said too, when her and William got married, people were asking, how do you feel, almost being, they didn't say filling the shoes, or how do you feel about the fact that Princess Di was so well loved? And she said, my role is not to be the next Princess Di. My role is to be the wife of my husband. So she knows exactly where her place is.
Yeah, she does.
And for that conformity, she's probably a good Knight of Pentacles. She's like, I'm just going to be loyal. Yeah. I'm going to take the back seat. I'm going to, provide the babies and smile at the cameras and do what is needed. That's my loyalist. That's my soldier. That's my Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, who is going to be there through and through and is very steady. And she is very steady. She's always diligently doing what she is required to do.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Do you want to do the next one?
Okay, so the next one we have here is Beyonce.
Oh, so Beyonce's actually in my tarot court. She's one of the tarot court cards. I believe she's the Queen of Cups is actually.
Is she Queen of Pentacles or
the Queen of Pentacles? Yes.
I've got her right here. I love that card. Yes.
So in my tarot court, she's actually the healer, but Beyonce for me is the performer. She's the Queen of Wands. So anyone who takes on a element of performance, especially from a professional point of view, is the performer. And one of the great things about the Queen of Wands archetype of the performer is that they can use their very, very big influence. And of course, she has this massive influence to make the world a better place and put the spotlight onto things that are important. And Beyonce has done that. Remember when she came out with the Black Panther, the uniforms, and was doing the dance and brought up Bruno Mars at the Super Bowl, and people were like, what? And I was like, yes. And then she's done Homecoming, which was the marching band. Like, it was so good. She, everything that she's done, she's trying to push forward and really shine a spotlight on her beautiful culture. And she has done an incredible job of breaking so many glass ceilings. So good on her, but she's definitely the performer because, again, those people have a facade or a performance name. She's Sasha Fierce on stage, and then she goes home and she's a mother and a wife and a daughter and a sister,
Is your Queen of Wands in your Bad Bitches tarot, is that an Adele outfit?
Yes, it is. One of my favorite ones from Give My Love to Your New Lover. Yeah, Send My Love to Your New Lover. I was like, someone needs to make me that dress immediately. I will never take it off. I will sleep in it.
Me too. I love it. You want to go?
Okay, so next one is Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh, I wish someone would just drop kick him into the ocean.
Is there one of those cards? Let's see.
Is there a drop kick into the ocean? Maybe we need to go to your Awakened Soul deck for that. Is there a drop kick into the ocean in this deck?
Yeah, I honestly do not understand from I don't get it. Like, he's just such a big liar. Whether you agree with his politics or not, like, let's not even get into that. He's just a liar. Like, I don't understand. So for me, he is absolutely Hades. He's that King of Cups, Lord of the Underworld, here to shake things up. But he also has this wound, which you can very, very plainly see. So on the external, he's a really interesting one because I feel like he has a number of personalities. I don't know if this is just me, but I read him, and he's a Gemini, right? I'm like, way to go, Donald. Thanks for like tainting the good name of Gemini. So he's a Gemini, and many Geminis have multiple aspects of themselves that they wear very comfortably. So one part of him wants to be this King of Wands entrepreneur, even though he's tanked businesses before, kind of person who has his name in gold, and let's not even go into the ego shadow work that is, which that is. So there's that part of himself, but he's very much the wounded king. If you've ever read any mythology around the wounded king in Celtic mythology, that's very much Donald Trump, you know, missing that very feminine, warm side, which understands the softer part of the world. He is very much this hard exterior. I don't know what happened in his childhood, but damn, like someone needs to hug that man. Get close enough.
Somebody does. Should we skip a couple, or how are we on time? If we're good? Okay, so the next one we have is Kim Kardashian.
Oh,
or one of the Kardashians. You can pick the one you want to do.
One of my least favorite people on the planet. One of the things I've got to say about the Kardashians is they've all worked, like, whether I don't particularly like them very much, but they've made a name for themselves, their entire family. They're a group of women doing their due, you know, like I can't slam them for that. But again, I watched this thing on Kanye West and her, and it was a very interesting kind of pairing there. He's very much Peter Pan. Kanye West is very much Peter Pan.
Which is the Page of
Wands, you know, it's all about him. He has a very bright torch that he wants to burn and show everybody. He's frenetic at times. He doesn't have a lot of stability, doesn't want to really grow up, but then at times he does see the benefit of being a bit more grounded and then tries, but ultimately there's this, you know, Peter Pan, the myth of like, do I want to grow up or do I want to stay Neverland kind of thing. And for me, Kim has moved a few times around in the tarot court, but I would actually say that she is more in the lines of either the performer or the healer, or a little bit of both, because she is now a mother to more than one child. So she's also taken on the role of taking care of Kanye West, who's now very openly about his diagnosis with bipolar. So not only has she got young children and businesses and a TV show and everything that she's doing, she's a wife as well to a very high profile person. So she's dealing with an awful lot. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be her.
No.
And not because of the bipolar. I'm not at all. I've got friends who have bipolar and mental illness. It runs rampant in my family. It's more just that I can't imagine what it would take to keep that train on track, like just everything that she juggles.
Just all of it. Yeah.
I just think that's crazy.
Everything going on.
Yeah. Well, we'll skip Roger for now. What about RuPaul?
Oh my gosh, I love RuPaul.
I do too. We are big fans. So yes.
RuPaul is definitely the performer. RuPaul is absolutely that Queen of Wands. Absolutely. What an amazing legacy too RuPaul's going to leave behind. And what another incredible person who has smashed through so many glass ceilings, has done what people have said cannot be done. You know, now they have DragCon. They're going to have Drag Race Canada. Whoop, whoop. We're really, really pulling for a local drag star called All My Bitches. And Alma is amazing. I've seen Alma perform a number of times here in Vancouver. So like, put Alma on there. So you got Taiwan, you got Thailand that does Drag Race now, the UK, and now Canada. So what a legacy builder. And just, I think anything that gets popularizes, it's just like Queer Eye too, right?
Right.
Some people have never had an interaction with someone that they would deem as other. whether that is a person of color or a religion that is not theirs, or they're queer, or they're gender fluid, and anything that produces content that can get out to people where it's going to show you that we are all really down deep the same, blood, DNA, guts and all, is a great thing. It brings people together.
Did you like Nina West? Who did you want to win the last?
Oh my gosh, I was so team Nina. I loved Nina West.
Me
I
too.
did really like Evie, oddly though. I think she did that last outfit with the faces and the mirrors. I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like, it was so amazing.
Yeah, she pulled it out there at the end with that outfit. But I liked Brooklyn too, so I liked them all. But you didn't like Brooklyn, did you?
Together. Brooklyn, I've seen Brooklyn perform. Whenever there's drag shows, my sister and I always go. We're always at drag shows. Brooklyn is very put together. Brooklyn is very, ballerina. Ballerinas are, it's strict and poised and perfect and very structured. Nina was definitely the heart and soul of the season, and Evie was unlike anything anyone's ever seen.
Right.
And I think she really deserved it from that perspective of bringing something that we've never seen before.
Right. And who was that one there was one that probably learned some hard lessons. What was her name? I can't remember.
Ganache?
Yes.
Yeah.
She probably learned some tough lessons.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Yeah.
I just want to say real quickly that I've seen her perform and there was no bad editing. She does not know when to stop.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. All right. So you want to go with the next one?
How about Miley Cyrus?
I love Miley Cyrus. I didn't really like her back in the Hannah Montana days because I was a bit too old to get on that train. I'm sure if I was younger, I would have been like, I'm so Miley.
What? I watched that every afternoon. What the hell are you talking about?
You're like, I love me some Hannah Montana. You had that blonde wig in the back there.
Watch a little Miley.
With Lizzie, with your daughter.
So I think she's just such this chameleon. Definitely the performer, but I also think she's very much the mystic as well, that Queen of Cups. She is clued in a lot more than I think people think. Mm-hmm. I think she's come from an entertainment family, thankfully had very supportive parents and didn't go down the route of Lindsay Lohan, the poor thing. A very supportive family, knew the rules, knew how to break them very well, and has this very mystical side to her. If you listen to her lyrics and what she does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to say the last one?
You got it.
You got it. Huh? Oh, you want to do the giveaway now?
Do the giveaway? Okay. So tonight.
Well, I wanted to hear about Roger first.
Oh.
Who's Roger?
Shit.
So Roger, for me, even though your star sign, your zodiac sign would put you as the King of Cups, I would say you're much more the Knight of Pentacles, who's one of my favorite in the entire world, because Samwise Gamgee, what a gangster. What an absolute fantastic person to have on your side. Someone who is loyal to a fault, who is able to read people very well, who is a very good judge of character, and who will be by your side through thick and thin. So that's who I think you are. I think you're the loyalist, or the soldier, as I put it. There to protect the people they love too, right?
I got her fooled.
You ever fooled?
I got her fooled.
Dare I ask, are you going to, who am I?
Oh, you're the mystic for sure, honey. You are the Queen of Cups for sure. Like, no question whatsoever. You are all about that mystic energy. You are that cup that brings, you want to nurture people through their soul. You want to know what's going on in their heart space. You want to help them through anything that is going to help fill their spiritual needs. You are able to see things and know things before people even speak about them. So you're definitely the Queen of Cups.
And you are?
I'm flipped between the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Swords for me is very much my outer personality. Mm-hmm. The judge, I am the person I'm the referee in my family. I'm the peacekeeper. I'm the one who mediates conversations. Mm-hmm. I'm usually the person who's bridging a lot of people together, and helping with my communication, and just, that's just always been my role in my family. being a middle child as well, probably
Yes.
definitely did that. But also the Queen of Swords in the Judge, she sees through bullshit. I think as a reader, you have to be very like, I'm going to call you out on that. But then on my inner space, my inner soul is very much that mystic. I was very intuitive. I was an empath as a child. Like I said, I can't even watch Stranger Things because I'm like there empathizing with a fake person.
Right.
I get very, very touched by things, like hurting animals, crying babies. Oh my gosh, I can't. I want to run over and pick them up and hold them. It's very difficult for me to be around distressed people and animals and things like that. So yeah, the Queen of Cups for sure on the inner side.
So what do you want to do for the giveaway?
So here's what we're giving away tonight. It is your book, and it is autographed.
Oh, you're giving away the autographed copy?
Autographed copy.
Is that to me?
No, it was.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
All right, so she
Not
gave
Michelle's
me,
autograph copy.
she gave me some autograph tabs. to
Okay,
put in
good. Thank you.
them. This is when we're in New York.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and
and
if
then,
you ever need any more, you let me know.
okay. So yes, this is what we're giving away tonight. And the first person who can comment.
Okay.
There
keep
went the
going.
book. Yeah, this thing,
I'm
Erica.
already out of here.
All right, so the first person that can actually comment on here and tell me what Ethony's puppy's name is.
Good question.
You better be paying attention because
Yeah.
we only said it once.
Full name.
Oh my gosh, that's
shit.
impossible.
I got one name. One name.
Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
So that'll be for the autographed copy of Your Tarot Court.
That's
by
on the floor back
Ethony
here.
Dawn. Yeah,
Don't worry.
We have it. We
Don't
promise.
worry. You come in and see Joaquina. She'll get it for you. We'll dust it off, all that good stuff. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Do we have time for any spreads? Okay, we have time for one tarot card reading by Ethony. Ethony agreed to do this, and we are going to read for whom? Who?
Leah.
For Leah. We're going to give first name only. Her name is Leah. And Ethony, if you want to describe a little bit of, are you using one of the, whatever spread you're using or whatever, you just take it away, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to do a little bonus exercise. So this is going to be fun for everyone. So you want to take out your tarot court cards and separate them from your main deck. And so this is for Leah. And what we're going to do is a 3-card spread. And it's going to be number 1, where you are, number 2, where you're going, and number 3, how you're going to get there. But the 3rd card is the tarot court card that you use. And we're going to see how the tarot court can bridge that where you are and where you're going.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the first thing we're going to do. And it's a really fun spread. I've been doing these when I've been doing the book stuff where I've been traveling around, and I know we're gonna come and see you all. It's on the
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Okay, so we need, you separate out the court cards, but you still have the rest of your cards, correct?
Yes. So the first thing you want to do is you want to shuffle the rest of your deck that doesn't have the tarot court in it, while holding the space for whoever is getting the reading. So this is for Leah. So I'll just give one more quick
Okay.
shuffly, and then you cut the deck and you pick out number 1 and 2. So Leah, honey. I feel like if Leah needs to message me, she can, because holy dooly. So then 1 and 2 are picked out by the main cards. And then the 3rd card, you shuffle the tarot court.
Okay.
And then you pull out 1 from just the tarot court. So Leah is on a healing journey at the moment. The first card she has is the 9 of Swords. Never a really fun card. I'm not one who's going to be like, it's all love and light, when it's not. So Leah at the moment is either stressed about something, there is something out of her control, which can be very difficult when we feel as though we want to control the outcome, especially if we have investment in it, whether that is an emotional investment, like a person or a relationship, or financial investment. All these things can trigger stress. The 9 of Swords is the anxiety card or the nightmare card. So something is keeping Leah from really relaxing and being off and allowing herself the time to be at peace. We all know that feeling. The Nine of Swords is where she is at the moment. The great news is where she's going is the Seven of Swords. And while this is going down when it comes to the progression of the tarot suit, one of the brilliant things about the Seven of Swords is that person has put 2 swords down. They've decided they don't need to carry, or they don't need to have the 9 swords above them. They're going to be like, nope, I'm actually putting down 2 swords. I'm packing the ones I can carry, the things I can control, the things I'm able to program in my brain, whether that's through mantras, meditation, exercise, whatever you need to do to help you kind of manage that real headspace, which all comes from that mental capacity of the 9, and come back to the 7. Because what is amazing about the 7 is, even though a lot of people see this card as a thief, it's actually about going your own way. It's about breaking the rules and doing things that are best for you. Mm-hmm. And when we look at the 9 of Swords as someone who is stressed and anxious, maybe you're doing things out of obligation and you're not doing things that are aligned to who you want to be. So really going things through, you're being the lone wolf, I'm going my own way. How you're going to get there is through the Queen of Pentacles, who is the healer in your tarot court. So really looking at healing those swords, healing those 2 swords you need to put down. And and I am such a big believer in boundaries. And a lot of the swords cards represent boundaries, because swords will slice through something. They are defensive and can be a defensive weapon. Mm-hmm. So the swords are saying you need to heal at least 2 of those swords, whether they're relationships or stresses that you have, through the healer, and really get good at taking care of your personal boundaries so you can put them down and get to the 7 of Swords.
Wow. I know Leah, so thank you so much for that reading. That was a great reading for her. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. But see how easy it is? It's like, this is where you are, this is where you're going, and this is the ally or the aspect of yourself through the court card that you're being asked to embody to help you through the journey. Yeah. And what a great way, too, of learning the court cards is just doing this spread on as many people as you possibly can.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good one. We will be using this. And I kind of laid out the cards to show how you choose them. So I don't know if he showed it or not, but it's explained. You explained it very well, too. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy to do, just you got to practice it, though. And the same with the book. I think working through the book, what I love about it is you give a lot of, you know how some books repeat things over and over again when they don't need to be? You repeat them when they need to be. And it's structured so well and so easily to follow. And then I really want to do the exercises. There's some books where I'm like, I'm not doing that exercise because that's so, like, really, I already figured that out like 20 pages ago. This one, I'm like, oh, I really need to do that exercise. And, like, we're going to do those exercises in the book that we haven't done, that we didn't have time to do today. But I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Well, you know what we can do? When I come down, we'll play bingo.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yes. We'll play bingo. Whether we get a group of 2 people together, we'll play your tarot court bingo. It'll be so much fun.
Yeah, we will for sure do that. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us. And really, I wanted to thank Ethony, especially as our guest. And I wanted to ask all of you to please be sure and follow us and like us on all your podcast platforms, whatever you listen to. And also on Facebook and Michelle SoulTopia on YouTube. And thank you again for listening tonight and for our show, for SoulWhat, where we kind of discuss topics and then you get to decide what your soul is really yearning for and what vibes with you. And until next time, thanks.
Thanks, guys.